Welcome, Дадя и добро пожаловать. My name is Alex and you are watching the channel called Know the Game. With this video I want to make some sort of introduction to a segment of the videos which will be dedicated to entrepreneurship. Now, don't worry, it's nothing to do with business guru style or info gypsy style videos. No, we will actually have a proper academic classes dedicated to entrepreneurship. We will review theory combined with practice as it's done in the actual class. Well, with a lot of my remarks, obviously. First thing first, you want to become an entrepreneur? You want to have your own business? You want to earn millions, maybe even billions? Well, good luck. No, honestly, good luck. There is no sarcasm here, no. You'll find out in a bit. So, what should we start with? Well, I guess jargon. Here's the fancy words you might see in basically entrepreneurial world that been constantly used. And today we will concentrate on one of them called unicorn. What kind of mythical beast is unicorn? Well, outside of mythology, we in the entrepreneurship call unicorns a company which within first 2 years will earn millions, if not hundreds of millions. Well, basically a very successful business. Why I decided to start with unicorns? Because of the statistics. You see, every day we have hundreds of thousands maybe, companies being registered all over the world. But 90%, as per statistics, guys, statistics don't lie, in this case at least, 90% of them bankrupt within first 2 years. 8% becoming more or less maintainable business. Only almost 2% of them are very successful business, and 0.0001 are unicorns. Like Microsoft, like Apple, like Spotify, Amazon, Uber. Those guys are unicorns. You see, this is why I wanna start with unicorns, because usually when we learn about successful business, we learn about these guys. But when we look at the statistics, I think we should look somewhere else. So why so many companies fail? Why business is failing? 90%, that's a huge number, right? Well, let's dig in, let's dive in. Obviously, we won't be able to cover everything, but we still need to learn more about what's truly going on. Of course, we will go through the very successful companies for a bit different reason than you might think of. But the main thing, I started with unicorns because I want to introduce you something that you most likely know if you are following info guru or business guru, info gypsies world, or maybe even some smart guys with the really serious content. Survivorship bias. Now, most of you definitely heard about survivorship bias. It's very popular. Basically, it's about allies making sure during World War II that the armor on bomber planes are installed in the right places. Because you can't put armor on the whole plane, it will make it heavier, will require more petrol, it will be not as fast. Therefore, you need to put it in the very critical areas. So, researchers started to think, so we're having planes coming back, where they got hit, here they got hit more, let's put some more armor there. Almost did they, because thankfully there was a very smart person who said, guys, stop. You see, they got hit there and they came back. So let's concentrate on the spots where they were not hit. Maybe that's the reason why they actually came back. It was a very wise decision. I even believe that this story is really overused in the entrepreneurial world, but at the end what we see, people still don't get it. It's still very popular to buy and read the book about success of Microsoft, success of specific person like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jack Ma in China, without understanding that these books have completely different purpose, and they're definitely not bringing us the whole truth about the companies we were reading about. You know, there's even saying, history is being written by victorious. For example, let me explain. Elon Musk really likes to brag about that, oh my God, it was so hard during the childhood, dad was not supporting our family, mom divorced, so we were struggling on our own.
Serious issues.
Okay, well, so you didn't have a happy childhood.
It was very violent.
Divorced when he was 8. May said she left an abusive relationship. She ran away with the 3 children, and it was a struggle raising them as a single mom.
But now, thanks to social media, we know that this story was not exactly true.
No, Elon went to school in a Rolls-Royce every day. Really?
He was fully supported by his dad. He was always in a good relationship with his dad. And yeah, by the way, his dad owned diamond mines in South Africa. What about Jack Ma? That's my favorite story. A poor guy from the poor family struggled to finish the school, like 3 times, tried to get this Gaokao equivalent of the exam, then became a teacher in China. Okay. Then all of a sudden, with the party members traveling to United States on business meeting. The guy who couldn't finish the school, working as a teacher in a small place. And then becoming successful entrepreneur. You don't need to live in China to realize that something fishy about this story. Not to mention that quite often, obviously, all unethical things that this or other companies do, they're not mentioned. For instance, have you ever heard about Bill Gates bragging that, I didn't even had own operating system when I was selling it to IBM.
But we didn't have anything. I mean, not a damn thing.
I just remembered that I have a friend's friend who might be having operating system, and that's what I sold to IBM. DOS was that system that I didn't have. I just knew a guy who might have it. Obviously, these books following some sort of agenda. With Jack Ma, it's really easy. This guy introduced 996. This guy was always saying that you should be proud for working for your company constantly, non-stop, very hard. And then you'll be successful like me. He needed the example like that. So book was written with the story like that. Easy. You might say, okay, I understand. I mean, come on, it's about the person, it's about the ego. But we can read the book about success of Microsoft, for example, and learn something very valuable. Can we now? Is something written in the book about Microsoft would be valuable for your company? Will in a book about Microsoft, Bill Gates brag about that he sold to IBM operating system that he didn't have, and he just knew a friend's friend who bragged about creating his own operating system? Or in his book, he's bragging about how he stole GUI, graphical user interface, and mouse from Apple, how he got into the trust of Steve Jobs, found out when they're about to release operating system, got all the data about GUI and mouse, and implemented in his fresh new operating system, Windows, and released it before Apple released their own operating system with GUI. No? Yeah. And obviously Microsoft is not insane. They explode prison labor, they've been caught on tax avoidance. Is this in the book? Nah? And obviously it's not just about the Microsoft. We have quite a lot of companies like this. Nestle, H&M, Gap, Facebook. Oh, by the way, if you're feeling so sorry about the Apple that Microsoft stole the technology from them, don't be so sad. They stole it from Xerox.
This is who we wanted to steal from, Xerox.
It's just Xerox, well, they didn't hold on to this technology much, but that's a bit different story. We'll cover it sometime later. Anyway, let's not dive into the darkness, right? My goal is not to tell you that, entrepreneurship is evil. No. My main point was, guys, when we speak about entrepreneurship and when we study entrepreneurship, we should more concentrate not on the unicorns, at least at the start, but on most of the businesses that didn't make it, or maybe were successful and didn't make it, like Xerox, like Kodak, like Nokia. I bet we can learn much more from them, from comparing to the books that Microsoft or Apple writes about themselves and want you to believe about themselves. I genuinely believe that everyone should try themselves as an entrepreneur. Maybe if it will not end up with the successful company, it still will change your life and change it to the best. You see, If you're following Gary Stevenson, very interesting guy who talks about the economics, he claims that in 2025, there is no chance for you to get in Forbes list, even 1,000. But, well, unless you have a very rich mom and dad.
And don't just stand up there and wave, your millions of pounds in front of them and say, if you were entrepreneurial like me, you could do it, you could have it. Because it's sick, because they can't.
Okay, but this might be true. This might be really true, but is this supposed to be a goal? Because with current rise of real estate prices, with the prices for basically anything that we need and want, isn't it already success that you can provide for the family? Isn't it a success that you can actually choose what you want, not according to your budget, but just because you want to have it? Therefore, maybe not for creating your own unicorn, but maybe to be able to provide for your family, entrepreneurial mindset is essential. And we will get to it step by step, as long as you feel comfortable. Research shows that many successful entrepreneurs, they were working for other entrepreneurs before. They had friends who were entrepreneurs. So it's not about rich mom and dad. So what makes business successful? Knowledge, creativity, discipline. Sure, all this helps. But have you ever considered luck? Seriously, how luck is important in entrepreneurship? Because let's come back to our friend and my twin brother, Bill Gates.
And I'm your twin brother.
He knew a friend's friend who bragged about operating system. Guys, how many of our friend's friend bragged about something in a bar? How many things of those were true? Isn't it a luck that this guy actually had operating system? Okay, you can say, well, but Bill Gates actually had mom as one of the chairmen on the board of directors. Yeah, but somebody could have dad, somebody a little bit higher. It's about luck. Still, what about those other successful kids of very rich parents who lost all their savings and all the money that their parents gave them? And we're not even talking about the guys who spend it on yachts, champagnes, and other stuff. We can even talk about the guys who really studied well, who worked well, found interesting idea, and then invested all the money in specific project, and boom, we got a COVID, and everything got frozen for 2-3 years, and they went bankrupt. Who would predict COVID? So yeah, luck is a factor that we underestimate. Is entrepreneurship a science or an art? Well, science, it's all about rules, laws, formulas, right? Art is about creativity. If we'll break down entrepreneurship, we only have 2 rules. Rule number 1, you need a customer. Rule number 2, you need a profit. So if your product has customers and customers can bring you profit, the rest is pure creativity. Some might say, oh, creativity, so I don't need any knowledge then. Wait. But let's break down creativity. Creativity is about using your knowledge a new, different way. So you need knowledge. So you need to learn stuff. Who can become an entrepreneur? Well, actually, anyone. There is no such thing as an entrepreneurial gene. There is no link between success of your business and your grade, your previous salary, your IQ, or your gender. There is no correlation there with anything. And here's my favorite truth. There is no guru who can walk you through to ensure success of your business. No, there's none. You see, your path, you will be always so unique comparing to anyone else's path. Because you know different people, you have different connections, you encounter different difficulties, you encounter everything about your way in entrepreneurship will be different from anyone else's way. Entrepreneurship is 10% idea, 90% execution, right? And when we execute something, we are always in different position, in different situation, in different environment. There's a lot of people paying crazy money for those business gypsies who promising them successful success. And this idea is just crazy to me. Let's review it from this perspective. If you have some valuable information about certain niche, would you share it with anyone? Because each new player takes share of your market, takes share of your profits. What is the reason for you to share information like this unless you're just only selling people motivation and dreams? It's that easy, right? Who needs knowledge of entrepreneurship? Everyone. In fact, in our daily life, we often use entrepreneurial roles like negotiating salary or discussing terms and conditions on a new job we're being hired at, doing some financial planning on our own. We're quite often doing certain things that entrepreneurs do. Yes, quite often we're doing them bad, but that's why we need entrepreneurial knowledge and entrepreneurial mindset to improve ourselves and deal with this crazy world better. And speaking of it, I would never say that you need to straight away consider that if we're doing business, it is something big. No, it shouldn't be something big. Not straight away. Not many of us are unable to create something big, but we can do it step by step. And sometimes certain step is very sufficient for us. We can maybe just become self-employed if the time is right and the things are right. We just need to distinguish what is right. Because, put it from perspective, just becoming self-employed, even plumber. But if you're doing things really good, you're always on time, you're doing things with the good quality, it's always nice appearance, nice smell of you, not alcohol, not strange smell of something else. You will get a big wait list if you're working on your own without even advertising anywhere, because it's really hard to find really good plumber. So yeah, it shouldn't be something about big. An entrepreneurial approach will help us in any tiny thing we do in this world. Whatever is your profession, if you're doing it with passion, if you do it well, and you understand what market actually wants, you will succeed. Yes, those qualities can be helpful and will be and are helpful when you're working for someone, but not always will be recognized as much comparing if you're gonna do it yourself. And by the way, who said that you need quit and dedicate your life to your business straight away? Business is risk. We know 90% of businesses are failing. So why not to combine? Just do it reasonably so one will not interrupt another. Simple as that. It's really stupid idea, I would even say, to drop out your existing job that pays the bills and start something that may have prospects in the future. I did it. In 2008, I quit a very reasonably paying job because I opened my own company and I wanted to ensure it works well and managed well. Well, not to mention that 2008 is when this financial bubble bursted in the United States and we had no idea that, wait, this thing happened in the United States and it will affect us here in Europe, in Latvia? Anyway, long story short, I ended up in a warehouse of Scotland for a year and a half. So yeah, I highly not recommend you to drop out from your bill-paying job straight away if you decided to start your own business. Not really good idea. Just check out the Shark Tank, the American show, where you will see that most of the entrepreneurs, especially in earlier seasons, they were all combining their full-time job and their business. And it's absolutely normal. That's a common practice. And if your contract says you're not allowed to work anywhere else and only work this job and only, check your labor law. Because if your labor law allows you to work outside of your working hours in one company, yes, you can do it. Just don't talk about it at company. And if somebody will find out and will start waiving the contract and saying, oh, it's a contract, you're not allowed to do this and that, you can say, guys, contract is fine, but there's a labor law. They might ask you, why did you sign it? And here comes entrepreneurial approach. Well, guys, if I wouldn't sign it, you wouldn't hire me. But labor law is above any contract I sign with employer. Therefore, guys, yeah, that's going on. Anyway, let's wrap up. What are the pros to be entrepreneur? First of all, you're the boss. Second, you're independent in your actions. And third, You keep all the profit. Well, of course, after paying all taxes. What are the cons though? Well, first of all, vacation. Yeah. And the second, if you mess up, it's you and only you to clean up all the mess. Sorry. So, what else should we summarize? Okay, so balance is everything. Your current job and side business can solve a lot of your headaches, financial headaches, and basically it all depends on you. Second, luck is a factor. Consider luck and don't underestimate power of luck. You see, we have too many info gypsies screaming to you that, guys, just believe in success. You just need truly believe. This is nonsense. It's not okay to give up, but it's okay to fail. And failing is something that can happen to us. We just need to be prepared. If you know that you can fail, you will create plan B, C, D. And it will be really awesome feeling when you can do your plan A and you won't need them. But you will be prepared. Just imagine if you are not. An entrepreneurial mind, it's about financial stability, financial literacy, I would say. It's to get rid of this wage slave mentality, to differentiate our risks, not to complain about all the difficulties and problems going on around us, but to see how they can work in our favor. Because they say for a reason, with crisis comes an opportunity. These videos will help people not only who are struggling with their business, doesn't matter, is it mature business or they're just starting the business, but also will change something in the mindset of people who are struggling with the survival from salary to salary, who are already annoyed living in a shared apartment and thinking how they can end this. You see, these videos will be more academical rather than motivational hype. I will give you food for thoughts on things that you can truly do and truly apply in this world. Irrelevant are you a consumer or a businessman, it will be helpful in any case. Entrepreneurial mindset will help us in daily life, not just in business. But for today, I guess this will be it. With this, we will finish our first video, which will be introduction to entrepreneurial classes that I will have later on published on this channel. But for now, all I can say, всего доброго, зайден, till we meet again. Bye-bye. What else I could have say? Au revoir, sayonara, let's nakamam, ciao. I need more.